The Batman-Superman movie is actually not a movie at all. It's a 3-episode compilation from the second season of Superman the Animated Series, released on home video after it first aired in October of 1997. Still, World's Finest is viewed by the audience who grew up with it as an essential on-screen Batman-Superman adventure. Many fans frame this as an example of the proper way to cross over the more modern versions of these iconic characters. It's kind of funny saying modern, since these episodes debuted almost 30 years ago, but the core of that thought still rings true, at least to a certain degree. A nearly broke Joker steals a jade statue called the Laughing Dragon from an antique shop in Gotham City. Batman investigates, which leads to the Dark Knight discovering the statue isn't made out of jade, but kryptonite. Batman has a hunch that Joker is headed to Metropolis, and with Wayne Enterprises' collaboration with LexCorp taking shape, Bruce decides now is the perfect time for a visit. Joker and Harley Quinn approach Lex Luthor with an offer. The Clown Prince of Crime will kill Superman in exchange for $1 billion. After some convincing, Lex takes the deal. Soon, Bruce Wayne arrives in Metropolis and an immediate attraction forms between reporter Lois Lane and the billionaire playboy. This miffs Clark Kent as the Man of Steel soon clashes with Batman on the latter's hunt for Gotham's killer clown. The new Batman Adventures premiered only a few weeks before World's Finest aired, and for plenty of folks, I'm sure this was the first time they saw the revamped Caped Crusader and the follow-up to Batman the Animated Series. Building on the excitement, Joker, Harley, Alfred, and Batman crossed over into Metropolis with the same voice actors playing their roles. There had been mentions of Gotham here and there throughout Superman the Animated Series, but seeing our heroes finally combine efforts was a big step forward for what the DCAU became the following decade. How these crime-fighting forces interacted is most certainly not akin to the older interpretations seen on Super Friends or in Golden Age comics. They eventually established a strong bond, but they're diametrically opposed characters whose personalities clash before their similar set of morals rise to the surface. It's an icy start for the World's Finest, and not exactly helping their uneasy partnership.
A partnership? You're joking.
Was the budding romance between Bruce and Lois. Before Wayne's arrival, it's played up like Lois and Superman are finally going to start getting to know each other outside of burning buildings and abductions.
It might be nice to see each other when I wasn't, falling out a window or something.
I understand.
You do?
But there's an instant connection when the Prince of Gotham meets the Daily Planet's most well-known reporter. I do enjoy how far they took this relationship in these 3 episodes, and how much it bothers Clark, creating more tension between our protagonists. It throws a monkey wrench into the status quo, making for some interesting scenes as this pairing evolved.
This city is gorgeous at night.
Is it? I wasn't looking at the city.
One of the reasons Bruce and Lois worked so well together was the reunion of voice actors Kevin Conroy and Dana Delaney.
I was hoping to get away from the subject of the Man of Steel for one night. I've been a little too consumed with him lately.
Maybe we could change subjects.
No more men in tights?
Deal.
Delaney, of course, played Wayne's long-lost love, Andrea Beaumont, in Mask of the Phantasm. The actor's chemistry is still there 4 years later, and I couldn't help but be reminded of the history these two voices shared. I'll get more into the different levels of this whirlwind attraction in the spoiler section. Mark Hamill and Clancy Brown have some fun scenes as Joker and Lex Luthor. How they played off each other is pretty entertaining.
What makes you think you can kill Superman when you can't even handle a mere mortal in a Halloween costume?
There's nothing mere about that mortal.
Luthor is more of the straight man to Joker's usual wacky personality, so they mix together okay for the purposes of this particular story. I honestly found the matchup of Lex and Bruce Wayne more compelling. They're on equal footing in their respective worlds, and their exchanges put the spotlight on Luthor as a dark reflection who doesn't hesitate to cross any ethical line. I love how he thinks Wayne has a similar mindset, as if he's willing to break the rules in service of power and monetary gain too.
It doesn't take much imagination to envision these robots on the battlefield.
Except, I won't allow it.
What?
I don't like guns.
Joker and Superman don't really blend all that well. There are stories out there where worthwhile interactions happen, but with everything else going on in these episodes, the production team didn't spend too much time trying to build on that specific antagonistic relationship. Finally, probably the most fun of these crossovers was Harley Quinn and Mercy Graves. They literally just beat the crap out of each other in every scene they're in.
Here's that punch in the face.
Ooh, listen to Little Miss Can't Take a Joke. Banzai!
Mercy, let's go.
Maybe the biggest reason I have an issue accepting this as a movie is because of the uneven pacing as one long narrative. They were created as individual episodes and they feel like it, with all the structure and beats that accompany 22-minute installments. Each part also has a different writer or team of writers. Part 1 is credited to Hilary J. Bader, Paul Dini, and Rich Fogel. Part 2 had Steve Gerber on the pages, and Part 3 was written by Stan Berkowitz. Strangely, Hilary J. Bader is credited on the episode version, but not listed as a writer in the compiled movie. It's not unusual for the writing team to split typing duties on a bigger job like this one, but these 3 episodes sort of featured their own style. Alan Burnett and Paul Dini conceptualized the overall story, with Burnett calling it a career highlight and one of his favorite projects. Adding a sense of stability to all 3 parts were director Toshihiko Masuda and the TMS Animation Studio. Masuda had another directing credit on the Superman episode Speed Demons, which featured the first DCAU appearance of The Flash. Maybe it's because I've been spoiled recently by Return of the Joker and Mask of the Phantasm, but I don't think these episodes look especially great. A big part of that is because they were done on the TV show's regular budget and schedule, but some of these sequences look pretty wonky compared to the visuals of the better animated Batman and Superman episodes by the same studio. Outside of that altered credit I mentioned earlier, there isn't much to compare and contrast about the movie and individual episode cuts. Of course, we don't have the regular opening and closing Superman TAS titles in the home video, although the end credits do have a pretty great extended edition of Shirley Walker's Superman theme. The text style of the credits at the beginning are slightly different looking too. In the movie, there's a unique logo that spells out the compilation's full name, and the titles that appear directly after are closer to the font of the old BTAS end credits. I have to say, the box art for the home video release is ugly. I really don't like the upgraded highlights and shading of the characters against that red and orange backdrop. Lex also looks strangely off-model. I much prefer the comic book tie-ins cover. Now that looks like a proper epic movie poster. Wish they could have gone with a version of that instead. As of now, the movie compilation has never gotten an HD release. It's still available out there on DVD and VHS in some places. As episodes of the Superman show, World's Finest is a part of the full series Blu-ray release and is viewable to stream on Max in high definition. After discovering each other's secret identities, Batman and Superman reluctantly begin working together to take down Joker and Luthor's joint plot. During a fight with the Wayne Lex T7, augmented for military use against Bruce's wishes, Lois Lane also finds out who the man under the cape and cowl really is. Failing to kill the Man of Tomorrow due to interference from Batman, Joker and Luthor turn on each other. Gotham's villain gets the upper hand, redecorating the massive Lex-Wing airship, commandeering it, and taking control of supersized Wayne Lex T7s. Together, our heroes are able to overcome the mechanical monsters and stop the airship before it destroys Metropolis. The World's Finest save Lex and Harley Quinn before the ship goes down, but Joker ends up trapped inside as several of his small explosives go off. The Lex-Wing then blows up and crashes into the ocean. The cackling criminal is presumed dead, as Lex is investigated for his connection to him. Earlier, Lois was planning on moving to the Daily Planet's Gotham Bureau to be closer to Bruce, as the relationship was turning serious. Yet, following her ordeal with the villains and the discovery of Wayne's alter ego, she decides to break it off with him. As Bruce is about to head back home, he bids adieu to Clark with a warning.
She's all yours now, if you can handle that. But you'd better be good to her, 'cause I know where you live.
Bruce and Lois were a pairing with more storytelling potential. I think they could have benefited from Lois taking that job in Gotham for a while and an extended crossover with the new Batman adventures.
We haven't made a formal commitment or anything, but yeah, it's that serious.
Maybe they could have even exchanged a character for a portion of the season. Lois could still come to the same conclusion as she did here, but experiencing some of Batman's hometown battles would have been an intriguing angle to explore. Not to mention Clark and Superman's feelings about all this. Wayne and Lane have a few genuine moments here that build on the characters' unlikely chemistry.
How could you have lied to me like that?
Now, I never actually said I wasn't Batman. Ow!
Oh no.
Has to be done.
I don't suppose a stern lecture on unnecessary risk-taking is going to sway you.
Sorry.
The relationship is mentioned again in The Demon Reborn, one of 2 other episodes where characters from the Batman show return to the Man of Steel's series, the other being Nighttime.
I'm sorry. I mean that we're meeting like this.
Hey, I was the one who said goodbye, though I can't say I haven't had second thoughts. Actually, there's been several times when I almost picked up the phone. Maybe you felt the same way.
With how Batman and Bruce are portrayed in World's Finest, he definitely feels like a guest star to me. Yes, Joker, Harley, and Alfred are around, but they're still in Superman City. The Dark Knight and the Playboy mask of Bruce are shown off from an outside perspective, in my opinion. His best moment was one-upping Supes by discovering where he hangs his cape.
Touché.
By the time Justice League came around, just about every character and their individual relationships were given time to develop and change. The focus and perspective were split pretty well on that show. Here, it was the first time the production team brought together the pillars of DC. For that reason alone, it's an extremely important piece of work. My perspective on checking this out again after a few years is similar to what I always thought. These installments are a good start for much better stories that would soon be told. Basically, they're okay. It's a pretty simple plot that aimed to expand this world and did so in a satisfactory fashion. I know a lot of you guys were exposed to World's Finest in its movie form, so be sure to share your memories of seeing it for the first time. There were a lot of comparisons made to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice after that movie came out in 2016. I acknowledge they are completely different things, but I think this has, thus far, stood the test of time better and retains a heavy edge in the rewatchability category. But again, what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts. And that's going to do it for Batmay 2024. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the select Batman the Animated Series related movies. If you ever want to go back, every single episode of both BTAS and the new Batman Adventures has an accompanying review right here on Channel Awesome. Be sure to check out my other work like Fanscription or Twilightober Zone 2, which will also be wrapping up this year. And don't forget to subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, Walter Culture, for additional videos on retro and current media. It's been fun, Batmaniacs. If you ever need me, just shine the bat signal into the sky, and I'll be there. Or just follow me on social media. That works too. Bye, everyone!